Okay, hello students. Today I am going to explain about how charges were produced at the beginning of development of electrical science. How charges means positive charge and negative charge. You know very well that negative charge means electrons. Positive charge means atoms with loss of electrons, which lost electrons. Atoms that are going to lose electrons, the atoms that are going to lose electrons are going to become positive ions. Those positive ions are nothing but positive charges. Okay, 18th century, in the 18th century means 1700 to 1799, scientists developed methods to produce charges, but they were struggling to store charges. Okay, they were producing charges by various means, but they were unable to store the charges. And by 1740s, 40s or 47 or 57 like that, a capacitor was invented to store the charge. That we discuss later. Let us see how we can produce charge very simply. If you want to simply produce charge, the simplest method is like this, something like this. Okay, if you rub glass rod with silk, a positive charge will be produced on the glass and a negative charge on the silk. This is what. If you rub a glass rod with silk, a positive charge, see that, a positive charge will be produced on the glass and a negative charge on the silk. Why? Because once you rub the glass rod with silk, electrons will be transferred from glass rod to silk. Electrons will be transferred from glass rod to silk. Therefore, glass rod becomes positive charge and silk becomes negative. This is modern way of explanation. But in 1700 and 1799, there is no idea about electron. There is no idea about electron because electron was discovered in very later. Electron was discovered in 1897. Electron was discovered in 1897 AD. Therefore, in the 18th century, even though they were producing charges, but they have no idea how those charges are produced. That is what important thing you should observe. Next, you come to know electron was discovered in 1897. Actually, this method of the rubbing of glass with silk and actually the names positive and negative charges were introduced by Benjamin Franklin. Also, the production of charges by the rubbing of glass rod with silk, all such methods also introduced by Benjamin Franklin in 1740s. Benjamin Franklin was American inventor. He was a politician as well as American inventor. He participated in the independence struggle of USA. America got independence from England in 1785, something like that. But actually, the charge production started. Even though we recognize that Benjamin Franklin introduced the ideas of positive and negative charge by rubbing glass rod with silk. Actually, the methods of production of charge was started very early, say in 1661. By German scientist called Otto Von Guericke. When 1661. How he produced? He made sulfur globe. See that sulfur globe, and in the process he produced the electric charges. The question is why he made sulfur globe. That is an important question. In 1661 AD means we didn't know many elements, say oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, etc. This means we didn't know much about the chemistry at that time. At that time. So, by some influential scientists of that period, we don't make much about chemistry because we knew only very few elements by 1661. Some say some 15 elements. 15 elements we know. Most of them are metals. We didn't know much of many gases like oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen. See, not a single gas was known to chemist of 1661. So we didn't know much about chemistry. So by some influential persons, scientists of that period, say Paracelsus, it was thought that the whole earth is made up with sulfur compounds. See that the whole earth is made up with sulfur compound. That is the idea. That is the idea of 1661. Why Paracelsus thought that the whole earth is made up with sulfur compounds? The reason is because many minerals, ores of the earth are available with sulfur present in them. Even today, many minerals are available with sulfur in them. Sulfur special is that it will burn so quickly that scientists of that period, and another special of the sulfur is it will burn very quickly. It will burn, it will catch fire very quickly. And so many scientists of that period 1661 thought that burning of substances was due to presence of sulfur. Okay, without sulfur the substances will not burn, or with sulfur only the substances will burn. Suppose if paper is burning, because paper is containing small amount of sulfur. That is the idea of 1661. Even petrol was thought to contain sulfur in it, and so it was reason for the easy burning of the petrol. So petroleum was known at that time, it will burn very easily, and they thought that petrol was containing sulfur. So Paracelsus thought that the earth was made up with sulfur compounds. Okay, that is why Paracelsus, eminent chemist of that period, said that the whole earth is made up with sulfur compounds. Therefore, what earth will do? Next question is what earth will do? Earth, it attracts objects thrown into the air. If you throw an object into the air, earth will attract, so the object will fall onto the surface of the earth. So to test this attractive property of the earth, Otto Von Guericke made sulfur globe. Okay, that is the reason why Otto Von Guericke made sulfur globe is because the chemist of that period thought that earth is made up with sulfur compounds. That is why Otto Von Guericke made sulfur globe to test the properties of the earth. Okay, after making sulfur globe, he rotated the sulfur globe about an axis. This is axis. See that this is axis. He rotated the sulfur globe about axis, and while sulfur globe is in rotation, he put his hands on the surface of the sulfur. Immediately observed sparks. Sparks are coming, and also that sulfur globe was attracting small paper pieces. Just like earth is attracting objects of the air. If any apple cut from the tree, immediately our earth attracts that apple. Similarly here, the sulfur globe, once rubbed with hands, was able to attract paper pieces, just like our earth is attracting apple. So this has given so much satisfaction to Guericke. But actually Guericke didn't know that the sulfur globe acquired charge because of its friction by hands. Okay, sulfur globe. Let us see how sulfur globe attracted paper pieces. Let us see that. You see this figure. Okay, here what is that? A sulfur globe is taken, and that sulfur globe is rubbed with hands. Thereby the sulfur globe acquired positive charge. To this sulfur globe, to this charged sulfur globe, at very near place, a paper is placed. The paper ends are identified as A and B. The sulfur globe is attracting paper piece. Why? Because sulfur globe positive charge is producing negative charge on the paper. See that the positively charged sulfur globe is producing negative charge on the neutral paper. See that the paper is neutral without any charge. Once that paper is placed very nearer to sulfur globe, just nearer to charged sulfur globe, the positive charge of the sulfur globe is producing negative charge on the paper. Okay, the positive charge of the globe attracts electrons of the, why? Because the positive charge of the globe attracts electrons of the atoms of the paper. Okay, this positive charge will apply attraction force on the electrons of the paper. So electrons move from the one end to other end, say from end B to end A. So at end A, we see accumulation of electrons. See that this is like that. Accumulation of electrons. Therefore, NDA is becoming negative. Already our sulfur globe is positive. Between positive and charge and negative charge, there will be attraction force. Thereby, the paper is going to be attracted to sulfur globe. This is the reason. So, once again, I want to say that a neutral paper is brought to charged sulfur globe. The positive charge of the sulfur globe attracted electrons of the atoms of the paper. Thereby, electrons of the paper are accumulated at point A. Okay, this is. But there are disadvantages of sulfur globe, or sulfur globe gives very bad smell. And further, once you rub the sulfur globe, it will acquire charge, but the charge is not going to be present for long time. Okay, so Newton, after studying Guericke experiment, he introduced his own idea that we discuss in the next video. Thank you.